and follow you. And then when God now broke it down for me, he now said, my son, listen, this phrase is anchored on 3 words. And what is that word? Surrender, sacrifice, service. Surrender, sacrifice, service. Those 3 words are the components of we have left all and follow you. Now, why did God want us to start with the book of Mark? The book of Mark is one of the 4 gospels. And when we talk about the gospel, what is gospel simply means? Simply means good news. Meaning that God wants me this year to begin to speak on good news. I don't prophesy negative, and I'm not going to prophesy negative. Some pastor may see negative. Some pastor may see great accident that is going to happen, president that is dying. But I was unable to see that, and I cannot see that because what he wants me to see is what I'm seeing. He wants me to see the good news, great news. And the book of Mark and the writer of Mark was someone that was able to have relation with what we can call first-hand information. That is, Mark was able to see people who really got encountered with Jesus. The event and the record of Mark, the way he brought it, you can look at Matthew, Luke, and John. They spoke on the gospel, but the way Mark, you will know that this is the writing of Mark. For example, Pastor Elisha, Pastor Rufus, Pastor Shale, Pastor David, when they are preaching, without you seeing them, once you step at the lobby, you hear their voice, you know that this is the signature of David. This is the signature of Elisha. This is the signature of Shale. So, Mark, in his own signature, he started with the introduction of Jesus. And listen, people, this year, we got to start it with Jesus. We got to start it with Jesus. When we start it with Jesus, we will arrive at destination of discovery that we really have glorious harvests. When we embedded it with Jesus, when we anchor it on Jesus, we will not see any other thing than Jesus. In other words, this year in your spiritual life should be centered on Jesus. Your marriage must be centered on Jesus. Your finances must be centered on Jesus. Your academic must be centered on Jesus. Your going out must be centered on Jesus. Your stay in the house must be centered on Jesus. If you have money to feed yourself, must be centered on Jesus. If you have none, must be centered on Jesus. Everything must be centered on Jesus. And as Jesus was trying to release the word, and as Mark was seeing all these things, he saw that Jesus should be the first. And after that, he narrated everything Jesus Christ was teaching, his own practice, his own doing things. And later on, when you book of Mark chapter 10, you will all agree with me that different verses of the Bible, like if you look at what the book of Mark is talking about, there are a lot of topics in the book of Mark. A lot of topics. In that Mark chapter 10, Jesus spoke a little bit about marriage. He spoke about divorce. And he went further. And if you look at where the junction of verse 13 of the book of Mark, all the way to verse 31, there Jesus Christ was talking about what you are going to gain and what you are going to be doing. That is receiving and doing. Now, as he was teaching there, he moved further from that verse 32 to 52. Jesus spoke on what do you want Jesus to do. Now, he started with what he wants us to know, and he held it up with what he required. He started with surrendering, and then later on he spoke about what you must sacrifice. He spoke about marriage. Marriage is a sacrifice. Marriage is not something people look at it in that manner. Jesus made them to see that it must be a sacrifice. If you are not ready to sacrifice, you are not understanding what he's saying. Now, he now ended with service, what he wants us to do. As a teacher, you come to the class. You have what is your goal, what you want your student to learn. You set up your aims and objectives for those courses, syllabus, and then you broke it down to different class activities. And at the end, you want them to do something because of everything you have deposited on them. And on that note, Apostle Paul, or Peter, sorry, when he got to verse 28, having heard everything Jesus said, he shouted. He said, Jesus, we. Look at that word, we. It's not talking about one person. At the end of this year, I want to say to Jesus Christ, all of us in Monbete, we have surrendered all. All of us, church member, pastor, all of us, choir, everybody, I must be able to say, Jesus, this sheep you want me to pastor, this sheep you want me to be shepherding on them, I can guarantee, Jesus, I can guarantee, tell you, that they live a life of surrendering all and follow you. So, when he said that, because you must understand the kind of the temperament of Peter. Peter, by his temperament, is a vocal leader. Someone who can speak. Someone that if 1, 2, 3 people want to say something, they will go and meet Peter. Talk to him. This is what we want to do. So Peter has the support of every one of them. That Jesus, I'm glad to let you know that we have surrendered all. This year, surrendering, sacrificing, answer.